regulated districts. And in those locally regulated districts, depending on where you are, they might, the most restricted would be Bucharest, the French Quarter. They might tell you what colors you can paint your house. Everywhere else, they really don't get into colors, but they will certainly tell you in Marion or Bywater, whether those are the appropriate doors or windows to put on an existing historic house. Once you get uptown, this is obviously a very big one, Mid City, very big one. Here they really only tell you whether you can tear something down or not, or will prevent you from tearing down something that is part of the historic district that is nationally recognized. So, yeah, Yellowstone in the West Bank. We're here right now. The French Quarter, obviously, the original part of New Orleans, laid out in this grid system by a French engineer. St. Louis Cathedral is right here, Jackson Square there, and then the Presbytery and the Cabildo were basically the seat of religion and the seat of government in colonial times, because the French and then the Spanish, who were in charge of New Orleans after the French, enmeshed church and state in the way that we no longer do, right? So this was the seat of power, and it was very clear that it was like government and the church, the Catholic Church, side by side.
How old is New Orleans, by chance, do you know?
Just over 300 years. So, yeah, this same kind of configuration of what they used to call the Plaza de Armas, or Place d'Armes, the city square, and the seat of government and the church, is something we see in a lot of Latin American countries, because the Spaniards did a similar type of city planning in much of the colonial world in Latin America. And just to finish orienting ourselves, this is Audubon Park, one of our more famous parks. The zoo is here, and then that is City Park, which is actually much larger than Audubon Park. Both of them have golf courses. A little more of a natural environment in City Park, where there's some wetland areas and a whole lagoon system. Though it's not actually a natural lagoon system, it's sort of modified of what was there. It was kind of a wetland forest at one point. And then beside it, you see Bayou St. John. So again, we don't have Lake Pontchartrain on this map, but Bayou St. John links all the way to Lake Pontchartrain, and this is kind of like the backdoor reason that New Orleans is built where it was built, right? That it was easier in colonial times to get an ocean-going vessel that was powered by wind into Lake Pontchartrain, which is an estuary of the Gulf of Mexico, through a channel called the Wrigley's, and then you could navigate by smaller craft through the bayou to here, and then overland to the Mississippi River. And that's something that Native Americans did, Choctaw and Chitimacha people did, and they showed the French how to do that, and that's part of the reason that Guillaume, who was one of the founders of the city, chose this location. The other reason being that you could see what's coming from upriver, and you could see what's coming from downriver, so it was deemed to be defensible. Today, you cannot really get a vessel between Lake Pontchartrain and Bayou St. John because there's a flood control gate there to prevent storm surge, high water in the lake, which is, as I said, an estuary of the Gulf of Mexico, from causing flooding in the city. But it's actually a very historic area, and this little part of the city, sometimes called Faubourg St. John, was actually settled before this part of the city. So that was settled in 1708.